So, a friend on this app hit me up saying she was in need of some help to get back into shape. Why did she hit me up? She hit me up because she said she admired my body type, but here you can see that ever since I dropped the first initial 50 pounds, I've been pretty decent at staying relatively in shape and then even, not gaining too much weight and then, leaning back down, but just building muscle and basically maintaining to a certain degree. Of course, I fluctuate depending on what I'm doing, but here is why she's hitting me up because I've gone years, in fact, decades, being able to maintain my fit body, so to speak. So, here's the thing though, and I've said this before, that as we grow, as we change, as we learn, a lot of people don't stick to the same thing for their bodies. Our bodies change. We get older. Hell, I'm getting older. And so I have to go back to the drawing board and think, what is the next chapter of my life for my healthy goals? And then here's the other thing. What are you able to do? What kind of lifestyle are you able to commit to? Me, I am super weird. I can eat the same thing every day pretty much for years. And I'm okay with that. It's not a problem. It's not hard for me to do that because if I know it's working, boom, I don't have to worry about anything else. If I stray from it, I get a little, shit, is this going to do something? Yeah, I might have an issue there. And just so you guys know, again, I am not a dietitian. I'm not a personal trainer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical expert of any kind. I'm just someone who you could see from that video clip who's been doing this for a long time. Now, if you're the type of person who wants a guidebook, then I would suggest getting a guidebook. And this has been a really cool guidebook that my beautiful friend Claire Morrow put together with her own fitness journey, and she is amazing. She's done so much in her 40s and 50s. So if you need a guidebook and you want to count your macros, you want to have, the ability to eat a variety of foods, then that is a great way to go. You guys have to understand, for the last 4 or 5 years, I've been doing a mostly plant-based diet. I saw a documentary on YouTube that cringed me to my very core when it came to animal cruelty, and I wasn't able to eat meat ever since. And then I started going down another rabbit hole as far as health goes. And I started going down rabbit holes, and maybe, vegetables aren't what we thought they were. They're not as healthy as we thought they were, possibly. And again, I'm going to catch so much hate for this. Whatever, I'm just telling you my experience. So I was like, alright, I'm going to look into regenerative farming where there's a lot less animal cruelty. And here's the thing that this friend of mine, she was saying that when she was getting healthy and fit, she was eating low carb, which in my opinion is great. As far as breads and sugars go, we could go there too, because again, that's another rabbit hole I've been going down. But that she didn't eat a lot of protein, like red meat. And if she did, it was like fish and chicken, which is fine. But you have to understand, ever since I started my fit journey in my late teens, early 20s, protein has been everything. Protein has been the most important thing that I put in my body, and if anything, I have always kept my protein high because building muscle, building a strong body is my most important goal. I've also lived a lifestyle where I would be feeding myself like every 3 to 4 hours. And my understanding was that it would keep my metabolism revved up and going, so I was constantly, feeding myself so that I would be constantly burning calories. You guys have to understand too that for almost the last 20 years, I've been working in the tire business, which is very physically demanding. So doing that, along with some gym, I've been an active person most of my adult life. In fact, all of my adult life. My friend here I'm making this video for mentioned that she has a physically demanding job too, which is why she wants to get some strength. But she also said that she possibly builds muscle easily, which I say run with that. I say don't be afraid of that. I say if you naturally build muscle easily, I could only dream. Run with that. Don't hinder that, but I guess that would go a different direction as far as how you work out. I'm realizing I'm just gonna have to make a part two, maybe even three for this because there's a lot to cover. But let's just talk about how you want to eat. Like I said, I have been pretty much going in from plant-based to a meat-based lifestyle. Like, I've been consuming so much fat, you guys, that it's been an interesting experiment. I am not 100% no vegetables, but mostly no vegetables. I'm still weaning myself off of fruit because I love fruit, but this is the road I'm going down, and I guess we'll see. You know, I'll show progress pictures, of course, like I always do. But is fat and cholesterol as bad as we've been lied to since what, the 50s and 60s, when they all started lying to us about medications, about sugar, about, again, if you're gonna be here, you have to understand that I believe that we've been lied to all our lives in these, in this government, in this, as far as, doctor stuff, as far as, even in my case, religion, lied to my whole life in the Mormon church, lies. Anyways, so if you're listening to me and you're thinking, wait, you've been eating a lot of fat, I'm like, yeah, I've been eating a lot of animal fat, a lot of, just find whatever fatty meats. I don't, if it says lean on it and it's more expensive, I don't want that. I want the fat, the full fat. I've been using, what do you call it? Regular, normal, organic butter, throwing it in there with my bacon. I mean, the bacon, I'm still getting used to the fat because my whole, ever since, I stay away from fat, so I stay away from fat. But I also learned that sugar, and I'm not just talking sugar, you guys, I'm talking bread. Bread is sugar. So yeah, the road I'm on right now is getting away from plants and doing the whole animal based. And again, I'm not 100% off. I still have a little bit of, dairy here and there, and we'll see how it goes. But when people ask me, what I do, I got to be honest and tell you that, yeah, for this long I was doing plant-based. If those pictures look, of course I had supplements, but to get your body, it's a whole learning curve because we're all different. We're all different, and that's what's cool about, if you want to call it carnivore diet, is that you cut things out, you see how much you heal from other things like inflammation. A lot of people with respiratory problems have had significant great results with going carnivore, but you just go from there, and then introduce the other things back into your lifestyle. From what I understand, this has been going on. I've been doing this, so and so for maybe a month, but really been jumping into the whole meat thing hardcore all day. And so far, I really don't think I've, put on any fat with all the fat that I've consumed. I know a lot of people hate that word, and I'm sorry, but fat is fat. But the sugars, the carbohydrates, the breads, the grains, the insulin spikers, that's, what we were made to think was better for us. That's why they, promoted the cold cereal. Oh, part of a balanced breakfast, bagels, all that shit. Part of, no. And I knew that. I knew that they spiked the insulin, but I had the protein with it to prevent it, or so I was told. Who knows? We're all been lied to. I hope I am not confusing the shit out of this person, but I probably am. Which is why I'll do a part 2 on this. So, if you made it this far, it's gonna get crazier from here on out. So, if you want to stick around, bear with me, bear with my crazy. For those of you saying I need help, it's alright. I help myself every day. So, wait for part 2.